Welcome back, YouTube. This is Daniel McCray, and we have Matt Macrum, and we have a guest today, a gentleman by the name of Austin Russell. He's going to give us his thoughts on what's going on January 6th this year. We have the riots up there. Also, we're going to talk about just the federal government, the DOJ, prosecutorial discretion, and what's going on with that situation. Austin, tell us about yourself.
So my name's Austin Russell. I moved to Tennessee about 6 months ago. Lived in California for 9 years, and I have no plans on going back to California. There's a lot of things that I loved about California: the beaches, the mountains. I didn't really like the hot weather, but coming over here was such a blessing, and wanting to learn, wanting to grow, and get along and get connected with people that think like me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Matt, what's going on with you?
Not much, guys. We don't have Shannon here today, so I'm going to be running the computers also. Of course, check us out at McMakPocast.com. Also at matforcongress.vote. And
check us out on Spotify, too.
Yeah, Spotify, YouTube. Like and subscribe. It's super important, guys.
Yes.
Strap in and get ready to go.
Where your conservative Hello ladies and gents. Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful episode of the Tri-City's most riveting and informative show. Live from the hills of the Appalachians, the McMak Pocast, where your conservative libertarian hosts, Daniel McCray and Matt Macrum, talk with you about some of today's most important issues and discuss how they affect you, the freedom-loving citizens of northeastern Tennessee. So, light your cigar, pour a glass of your favorite bourbon, kick up your feet, and get ready to dive right in. This is the McMak Podcast.
So today we're actually talking about the situation, the actual riots, protests that actually happened on January 6th. The first thing we're actually going to look at is Louis Gohmert. He's actually going over some papers, some information regarding federal agents that might have been planted or possibly have been planted in these criminal organizations that actually planned the attack on 1/6.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, he's doing this before Congress, so
Right.
it's not like he's just making this stuff up. I mean, he did pull up this article we're going to pull up after this, but he's saying this before Congress. So here we go.
Now, there's been so much appropriate concern about January 6th. What happened that day? Unfortunately, we don't know all that happened that day. There are some major questions that need to be answered. We know that the former chief of the Capitol Police testified that they got no intelligence from the FBI about potential violence on January 6th.
So you want to stop here?
That's fine.
So
Go ahead.
was it actually quoted? Was that a right quote, or?
Yes, he actually said that the chief of the Capitol Police actually testified that they got no intel. Okay, so if you go to the very next article, see this is what's awkward. You got people actually testifying to stuff that's actually totally contradictory. In this article right here, which is the Revolver article.
This is the one that Louis Gohmert.
Yeah, this is the one that actually Louis Gohmert is citing. There's a video embedded in this article right here where Christopher Wray, which is the head of the FBI, actually says that they actually notified the Capitol Police more than once regarding this intel. Yeah, so this video right here is a short video. This is a really good video. We should play this one.
So just to recap, that the last person that we were showing, or the last, what he's talking about, he's saying the Capitol Police didn't have any intel, and what we're about to show you is the FBI totally contradicting that. So let's see here. This is Amy Klobuchar, and she's a congressman or congresswoman, and she's asking.
We now know in this complaint with encrypted two-way Chinese radios in military gear that there must be moments where you think, if we would have known, if we could have infiltrated this group or found out what they were doing, and that
If only.
Do you have those moments?
Absolutely. I will tell you, Senator, and this is something I feel passionately about, that anytime there's an attack, our standard at the FBI is we aim to bat 1,000, right? And we aim to thwart every attack that's out there. So anytime there's an attack, especially one that's this horrific, that strikes right at the heart of our system of government, right at the time the transfer of power is being discussed, you can be darn tootin' that we are focused very, very hard on how can we get better sources, better information, better analysis, so that we can make sure that something like what happened on January 6th never happens again.
Okay.
Man, I feel so much better knowing that that guy's got our back.
Yeah,
So
so scroll on down right here. Go to YouTube. Go back up, brother. And full segment is
You wanna see
available
the
on
whole thing?
YouTube. Yes, because I want you to hear Christopher Ray actually testify that he actually
Must be moments where
gave.
you think if
Yeah,
we would have
Yeah,
known,
this right here.
If we could have infiltrated this
Christopher
group
Ray
or
actually
found out
says
what
that
they
yes,
were
we talked to
doing,
the
and that-
Capitol Police
do
3
you have
times.
those moments?
Wow.
Absolutely. I will tell you, Senator, and this is something I feel passionately about, that anytime there's an attack, our standard at the FBI is we aim to bat 1,000, right? And we aim to thwart every attack that's out there. So anytime there's an attack, especially one that's this horrific, that strikes right at the heart of our system of government, right at the time the transfer of power is being
because
discussed,
so many police officers,
can
you know,
be
it was a
darn
horrific
tootin'
battle, and so
that
many
we
police
are
officers
focused
lost
very,
their lives.
very hard on how can we
It's
get
funny.
better sources, better information, better analysis, so that we can make sure that something like what happened on January 6th never.
The media is
happens
still
again.
pushing that guy who got a head trauma is
there's
like
been a lot of discussion
dying
about
from,
this
like,
Norfolk memo that
riders.
arrived, as you noted, with key people in the Capitol Police and others the night before. They testified last week, the chief, that he didn't even know about it until the few days before our hearing. And in fact, while there may be some that downplays that intelligence, I will note, while we don't have the memo publicly, that in that memo, there were statements that Congress needs to hear the glass breaking, doors being kicked out, blood being spilled, we get our president or we die, go there ready for war, some of the specific calls for
We probably
violence
said that
we
too.
know
Right.
were
We didn't mean
posted at that time.
Yeah.
We know that President Trump had called on people to go there on January 6th. We know that he told them to go wild. We know that in that memo there was discussions of, as reported in the news, perimeter maps, bringing back the wounded. And to me, it just seems like it's beyond aspirational in nature, that it seems like some of these reports that we now know exist out there were specific in terms of these plans that were going on. And I'm just, one of my questions that we will continue to be asking as part of this investigation we're doing with the Rules Committee and Homeland Security is how can we change this so this never happens again? So these types of threats and this type of information gets to the right people. And do you have any response on that?
Well, as I said, in connection with the particular report that you're referring to, the Norfolk SIR, as they call it, we did communicate that information in a timely fashion to the Capitol Police and MPD in
So
not one, not two, but
someone's
three
not
different
telling
ways.
the
Do you think
truth.
it's enough just to send it
Yeah,
an
so he
email?
goes.
But
Yeah, he
it's more
goes
than
through
just an
the-
email,
He
right?
goes through
So
the
first
process.
off,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
email itself went to, I think there are maybe as many as 5 Capitol Police Task Force officers on the Joint Terrorism Task Force. And the whole point of the Joint Terrorism Task Force is for the chosen representatives of the partner agency to be there in the loop,
AKA
real
the
time, so
Capitol
that
Police.
everybody's got the same information, so that each agency can use that information to do what it needs to do. But in addition to the email, so belt and suspenders, it was verbally briefed, and it's hard sometimes for members of Congress to picture what these command post briefings are like, but picture the command post that we had stood up at the Washington field office, representatives of all these agencies in the room. People are coming up to the microphone one at a time saying, okay, now we're tracking this, we're seeing this, we don't know if it's real or not, but here's what we're seeing, and everybody's taking notes, and the whole idea is they're supposed to go back and pass it up their chain of command. And then third, In addition to that, it was put into the LEAP, the law enforcement portal, to make sure
I
that
know,
everybody
I
got
know
it.
that.
So
Yes, you explained that.
having said that, I do not consider what happened on January 6th to be an acceptable result. And that's why we're looking so hard at figuring out how can the process be improved.
Right,
All
and
right,
some
so
of
that's
this,
good.
of
How
course,
can
is
the
the whole
process be
structure.
improved? Maybe
Yeah.
people can open their emails. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, so let's go back to that revolver article, bro.
How long was the chief of police on vacation for him not to hear about this?
yeah, it was. Well, look. Unfortunately, it wasn't just
Yeah.
the police chief. It was like 5 other people. Which article are we going to?
The revolver.
The revolver.
article.
Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
go back here.
So this revolver article that Louis Gohmert was actually talking about actually goes into the Whitmer kidnapping, where you had these guys that were organizing, and they were actually going to go kidnap Whitmer and supposedly keep her out in the middle of the lake in a boat, and I guess ransom her or something, or you know, get their way in government. And what he's
She wanted to
talking
go on
about,
vacation. She was going on vacation
Yeah.
anyway, wasn't
And,
she? She's not supposed to.
about a third of the people that were actually involved in an operation to actually kidnap her were federal agents.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah. So,
Why does there need to be that much involvement for the federal agents if it's just a small group of people?
I don't know. There was 14 people. See, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
that's the thing is you got to get enough people. You got to get enough energy to get the inertia moving to get these people entrapped. You know, because they're committing treason basically. So people don't just lightly do that. You have to have people around you who are going to support you.
Right. Well,
you know, to do that.
down farther in this article, you know, it talks about how much they actually paid some of these people. One's getting $4,000, another's guy's getting almost $15,000, and he's he's paying.
Are these informants or?
Yeah, the informants. And
so the
stuff.
government's paying these people. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah. See right
Okay,
there.
so yeah.
With our tax dollars?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it says FBI appears to have been integral, blah 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 blah. Okay, so this is another case, but anyway, in the Whitmer case,
undercover. This is a FBI agent trying to buy $4,000 worth of explosives.
Yeah, that's another. But on down farther, when it actually talks about the Whitmer case, it talks about that. So,
who are these guys? These are FBI informants, or
no, I think that. Those are people that actually got arrested, I believe. So it talks about Fox and Croft and all them, and that's the people that's actually involved in the Whitmer case. So anyway, the whole point of this is actually the FBI doesn't get involved and actually understand they're trying to do sting operations, you know. But at which point, you know, like I said, are you committing crimes or are you doing an investigation? You know, so I'm sure there's a fine line there. So Louis Gohmert and a bunch of people are actually saying that maybe the FBI might have been involved in actual planning or carrying out the 1/6 protest or riot.
Well, one of the things
he
he's
wants
saying,
to know to what extent.
one of the things he's saying too, you know, is that the problem is if you look at the indictments for for January 6th, there's people who are on video.
Yes, sir.
That were there with the people, like they've captured their faces. That don't have indictments because there's like 300. How many people are indicted? Something like that.
I'm not sure.
So they have posted
sure
those
about
people's
that.
faces everywhere, and they've asked for there was a billboard over here in Johnson City that was saying, "Do you know anyone who's connected to the January 6th riot?" Do you remember? Did you see that?
Right.
It was like call a tip line to report people.
When was that?
This was, I don't know, a month ago. I saw that it was like one of the billboards right in Johnson City. But so the problem is that a lot of these people on these videos who were inside the building are not having their faces plastered anywhere, and they're not being requested.
Well,
there's no indictments.
Well, another thing that's actually more telling is the fact that in the affidavits, it actually has these people like person 1 or person 2 or person 3, that's actually talking with.
You're talking about there's 20 unindicted co-conspirators in the Oath Keepers, and is that still the Gretchen Whitmer?
Well, that's not the point. It's talking about actually. They don't actually name these people because they are the unindicted co-conspirators.
Right.
But anyway,
but they did the same thing that the people who are being arrested are.
That's the whole point there. So let's actually talk about what they were actually going to achieve here. You know, really, let's think about this for a second, man. So they're going up there to protest, right? Okay. And a lot of these people are actually still being held in solitary confinement for like 23 hours a day. And a lot of them are actually going into the Capitol building, and they're actually staying within the velveteen ropes, you know, where you can actually take tours of these buildings, and they're actually up there just walking around taking a selfie and stuff like that. Yeah,
And you got the police like guiding them.
yeah, letting them in and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So a lot of these people are still. Go ahead, Austin. What you thinking? My whole point was that is why are those people still being held? But also, I mean, you can't. Did they really think they were going to go in there and actually take over the government?
Exactly. So yeah, one of the videos I was saying today I saw is because there's over what is it, 14,000 hours. Louis Gohmert talks about this. There's over 14,000 hours of video that the FBI is not letting out.
Sure.
But there's this one guy. Yeah, there's a lot. And this guy, he actually, he gave OAN some of his video footage, and he was showing, like, no one was causing problems for these police officers. Were blocking the entrance, like at a window, and what happened is the police were actually called over the radio to leave the post.
Right.
At an open window. At an open window where someone had busted the window out, right? And then whenever the people left, then people went in the building.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing, man. There's no way I would have went into that building, though, if I would have saw people busting out windows. This is a federal building. I wouldn't have been going in there and actually busting out windows and being a part of a riot, because, what was the plan once they actually got in there? I mean, what were they going to do?
I mean,
that's the thing. You're looking at treason. It could be a possible charge of treason, for these people. So
there's no evidence on the police officers that just walked away that there were federal agents or anything like that, or?
No. I was actually.
So that's the problem is whenever you're talking about, you've got.
I did.
You've got federal. Whenever it's talking about, we were mentioning earlier. You've got. Let's see. We'll plug it up here. Whenever the indictments are talking about. What did it call them? Person 15. There's like 20 something people that are named as person. So those people are people whose names can't be broadcast. So there's some reason that the indictments for these other people is like person 1 did this, person 2 did this. See right here. Person 2 for some mysterious reason remains an unindicted co-conspirator. So these people are named co-conspirator, named person 1, person 2, but their names aren't on the indictment.
Yeah, so I mean, they're speculating that they're FBI informants or either FBI agents. Okay, so that's the thing. But I was actually switching, the conversation. It was, there's nothing wrong with peaceably assembling. That's what you need to do. But you're not going to break into the U.S. government building and think you're going to take over the government, by just walking in there.
Well, see, this is a perfect example right here. On December 30th, Watkins and Caldwell exchanged the following text. So one of these people in the text group, he's actually a federal informant here. Watkins, looks like we're green light to come to D.C. on the 6th. The rally point's still at your place. And then this is the guy they're trying to arrest right here, Caldwell. He says, not that I'm aware of. So they're asking, like, they're talking about operation here, right? Watkins is referring to an operation. This guy's like, wait, I don't know what you're talking about. Person 2, and I will be in the hotel within striking distance of the city starting on the 4th. So he won't even be here. So, let's see.
Striking distance, meaning?
Of the Capitol. So they're just leading these people into a trap. It's like these people are already prone to
be combative.
Yeah, because they're already on edge, and they're already part of a militia. they're already that group, but these people are embedded in the group. So is it suspicious that person 2 described above is person 3, who is yet an unindicted co-conspirator in the Caldwell indictment. So that's the thing, is these other persons are vague. I mean, it's strange that they're not being indicted, because in any other case it would be blah 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 is indicted, and then and it would have their name on there. So these people are doing the same crimes as the people who have indictments, and they're not being charged. So that's suspicious to mean that these people are federal informants or federal agents, because their name's not going to be broadcast.
Right.
And not only that, but they're motivating the rest of the group that's not federal informants to do these crimes.
Exactly.
Which they may have not have done if they weren't there.
Otherwise, may not have done otherwise.
So, because that previous one was saying the guy apparently was not even aware of any kind of operation, striking distance. He's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. No. But then, he's like, okay, well, cool. If this is part of the thing, then let's do it. Those people are not leaders, right? Those people are people who you go with the flow. That's how most of the people, if you watch the Capitol riot, most of those people went with the flow and kind of went in there. Got the Viking guy.
And the Viking guy was kind of interesting.
He's facing like 30 years, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I thought he was a plant. Initially.
No, I mean supposedly, yeah, he's facing.
Is he
30
really?
years.
Is he on some island in Bora Bora? The federal government's got him set up real nice.
No, I actually read an article the other day. Yeah,
he's screwed. Well, you play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Right, exactly.
And let's see here. What is it going into anything else here? Basically, this article is just going into, person 10. It goes all person 20. All these people are being, and these are the same indictments for these people that are still in maximum security, solitary confinement, 23 hours a day, locked up 23 hours a day.
They're making examples of these people, dude.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's sad too, but they're making examples of them. But the problem is, again, we still don't have the guy's name who shot Ashley Babbitt. Right. And her husband's like, why don't, we know exactly who, as soon as anyone gets shot, if you're of a different ethnicity, we know immediately who you are. We know where you live. They post their address on Twitter. You know what I mean? And this guy shot Ashley Babbitt in the neck for trying to climb over a barrier, right? She had no weapons.
Yeah,
and we have no idea who that guy is.
But at the same time, man, let's look at the whole picture, man. You got people beating cops outside. You got people breaking in there. But there were cops there, with Ashley Babbitt. I understand that.
Yeah, they were right. Yeah, they were and Gomer. If you guys watch that video, he actually goes into it. He talks about there was police officers directly behind her. Why did they shoot her?
Well, I understand that. But at the same time, man, you can't go breaking into federal buildings, dude. You can't go in there beating federal cops.
You can't shoot someone that's unarmed either. Especially there's no possible way that she could have been harming anyone because she was in the actual act of climbing.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that.
And he was a man, she's a female, that's what I'm saying. But the problem is, again, we don't know. We have not heard any information about that guy.
Like I'm saying, I'm just looking at it from both sides. How do you know? Maybe she had a pack on. Maybe she's got something in the pack. I mean,
well, we haven't heard that.
Huh?
All I'm saying is
no. I'm not saying nothing against her. I hate the woman lost her life, but I'm trying to look at it from both sides.
I understand, but again, if it's someone who killed someone, we should know who they are. If there's going to be there should be a trial. There's no trial.
I understand that point too.
Yeah, it's like this is a ghost that shot her.
Right. I understand that point. I understand where you're coming from.
What were they trying to hide?
I hate it for her husband. That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's going to sue the government for wrongful death. Sure. He'll get some money, but it's not going to bring her back.
Sure.
But so anyway, this is just a whole article. You guys should take some time and read it. It's a long article.
So that's what I was talking. That's trying to get to is actually changing. This subject. Why? What do they think they were going to accomplish? Really, going into a federal building. I mean, do they really think they were going to change the outcome?
Yeah. So I think that in my opinion, what would happen in that situation is if, for instance, you did have federal agents, enticing these people to, busting out the windows, allowing, removing the police, the police, because they actually called over the radio and had the police detail removed from the places.
I'm talking about from the perspective of the rioters
No,
themselves.
yeah, so what I'm saying is, whenever you have no one guarding these buildings, now you've got everyone amped up, and you've got these people planted inside and be like, hey, yeah, man, let's go, blah, blah, blah. Like, these people are already hyped up. They've already crossed the barrier over to the Capitol building, whether or not they're actually going to go in or not. But, if you have much, like, there's no way that they definitely didn't think that they were going to take over the Capitol. It looked like largely that they were on a tour of the Capitol.
Yeah. Yeah, but think about that. Did it not cross their mind that, oh, well, maybe I'm a part of a riot and I'm going to go to prison for a while?
Well, and I think it was you and I that have talked about, people, whenever they're in situations where that riots happen, it's normal people. I don't know if we've talked about the studies that, it's like you're just in a situation when a riot happens and you're like, oh, crap, now I'm part of a freaking riot.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have definitely went in and been taking selfies.
No, for sure.
I would have actually left. I mean, as soon as I would have known, or as soon as I would have saw them actually beating police, I would have turned around and walked the other way.
Yeah.
Now,
well, I mean, that's you.
I do have a question too. So Antifa was here.
I mean, I probably would have tried to stop them from beating the cops. To be honest with you, it's probably what I would have done.
Was not Antifa and Black Lives Matter here at the same time?
Is it possible?
So
sure.
So that is one of the videos I was talking about earlier. Is this guy has this other footage of, like, there's this redheaded dude that's got American flag or Trump flag, and the guy he's given this extra video footage. He's like, that same guy was dressed in all black garb earlier, right? So once they got in, I'm not saying that there were definitely Trump supporters there, but the thing is it wasn't just like there was people that were antagonizing people. I can understand. It's not that people were doing anything right. Of course they were breaking the law, for sure. But the issue is they were antagonized by the powers that be. They literally removed all kind of defenses and protection that could have stopped any of this from escalating, first of all, and said that they had no idea that anything could happen. And second of all, I was saying on One American News, they have the extra video footage of the police. There's like 10 police officers in front of this broken window that all get called over the radio to leave their station, and no one's fighting them. There's no one attacking them, no one nothing. Everyone's super chill, and they were called over the radio, and all of them just jet. And then whenever that happens, then people start going in the window.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, and it was all so orchestrated that if you had a couple Antifa people in there, they're just going to ag people on because you saw what happened. They just peg everything on the Republicans. It's like these crazy Republicans.
Well, I mean, when it comes, from Christopher Wray actually saying, hey, we got a hold of them 3 times and told them that this might be happening. Then you got the Capitol Police Chief actually, like I said earlier, he actually said, nah, the FBI didn't let us know anything. So, I mean, so your whole point is, like, the people at the top maybe wanted this to happen, actually.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand that point. And,
it's perfect frame. I mean,
is that possible? Sure.
Well, you saw that one.
Could it be total incompetence?
That's possible. Less likely, I feel like. These people are, they do this for a living.
Yeah, well.
But, you think that these people... You saw that video initially of that police officer who's like, running for his life up the stairway, and there's, like, people just gradually moving. You remember? He's like a police officer. Yeah, okay. He's like, oh, no, and he drops his baton and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Do you remember that video?
No.
I'll have to show it to you. Yeah. So, but it's very staged, and there's someone behind him, gradually moving up the stairway, because they made a whole mini series about this.
Right.
They made a whole was it CBS or NBC made a whole mini series? It was like Moment of Terror.
Okay.
All right. Capitol Siege.
So, well, I'll tell you what, since, in this article, it talks about the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, and the 3%ers that actually could have been ones that orchestrated this stuff. So let's go ahead and show the people the next article about, not that one, the Proud Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people say, what's funny, I've heard people say, I've heard people say, well, Proud Boys, they couldn't be in with the FBI and stuff like that. There's an article right here, brother. Read out the headline.
Yeah, so it says Enrico Tarrio, the leader of the Proud Boys extremist group, has a past as an informer for federal and local law enforcement, repeatedly working undercover for investigators after he was arrested in 2012. According to a former prosecutor and a transcript of a 2014 federal court proceeding obtained by Reuters. In the Miami hearing, a federal prosecutor, a Federal Bureau of Investigation agent, and Tarrio's own lawyer described his undercover work and said he's helped authorities prosecute more than a dozen people in various cases involving drugs, gambling, and human smuggling.
Okay, so
Those sound good.
Okay, yeah. So let's think about this for a second. In the article from the Revolver and in the affidavit, you got, like I said, you got the 3 percenters, Oath Keepers, and the Proud Boys. So actually, right here, you got the leader of the Proud Boys. Like I'm saying, is in law transcripts stating that he was an informant. So could the FBI actually be in on with the, if the Proud Boys are part of the one that's organizing, do they have a way into the Proud Boys? Do they have a way into the Proud Boys?
I see what you're getting at.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
So what do you think about all this, Austin? You're 22, and just I guess we're all kind of just waking up to all this stuff, but as 22 years old, like, how do you see this impacting your future and the country that you're going to be inheriting? Like what is this? What are your thoughts on this stuff?
Well, first thought that comes to mind is when Jesus says, "A house divided against itself cannot stand."
Yes.
And we've really seen in the last 2 years, you have these people that are in power and own the news media, putting all this propaganda out, dividing the country of Americans that were united to begin with, United States of America. And, looking forward, if people could have the desire to be more informed and turn off the television and the Hulu and the Netflix and desire to know what's going on rather than depending on the news to tell them what's going on, I think it'd be a lot better. But
well, they're not even. That's the thing too. Is I think Daniel and I have talked about it before. Is people are very relegated to not have to put any effort or thought into this. Like, people don't want to hear this. People don't want to hear that their government is involved in, or possibly, or allegedly involved in, framing, other Americans, because that's what this is what comes down to. It's framing people for things that they wouldn't have done otherwise. But people are so happy and just go online and buy all the Amazon stuff that they want, and the new Amazon stuff, and then they don't have to put any effort into saving this country.
Right. And I understand that. That's a culture thing, That's why I'm always talking about, being an American first. Have your subcultures. That's cool. I'm always saying, you do you, and I'll be me. But at the end of the day,
That's a conservative value too.
Yeah.
It's funny. People with like blue hair, they're like, "I'm so unique and blah blah blah." Your blue hair and your ability to be different is a conservative value. We're all individuals.
Yeah.
Right. If you're gonna be a liberal, then you're gonna be part of the mass.
Right. So this right here, back to this article, man. It's like I'm saying. I'm trying to put the two together. You've got Enrico Tarrio, which was an informant for the FBI at one point. Could the FBI actually still be working with him or with the Proud Boys, organizing this? Like I'm saying, it's just an observation, guys. I don't know.
He's the leader. He's the leader of the Proud Boys.
It makes me wonder too, that did his followers know that he was part of this federal
I don't know,
entity? Bro. Did they just find out, or were they?
I don't know.
Thinking that
I think a lot of people were very, very surprised when this actually come out, because when
we denied it first.
When I heard this, I was like, no way. And then
well, at first they were saying he's racist, and we're like, nah, he's Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
it can't be racist.
Yeah, he's a white supremacist. Yeah, but anyway, from that aspect, but let's think about this for a second. Let's talk about the DOJ
Look
for a
at this
minute.
guy's shirt.
Yeah, Enrique did nothing wrong. Yeah. So you pretty much, and I understand I understand, that they're throwing the book at these people, but we've had other people in government that actually do things that work for the DOJ that have kind of just been, well, we'll just push that underneath the rug and we won't actually talk about that. Like, for instance, you're talking about attacks against the federal government, which is what 1/6 is actually being made out to be. I don't know if you guys remember Peter Strzok and Page, that whole deal, Crossfire Hurricane, when Peter Strzok actually, the text messages come out and said, hey, we've got a plan, don't worry, we're going to take care of this, actually talking about
the FBI agents.
Yeah, talking about getting Trump out of office.
Getting Michael Flynn. Is it the same?
Well, yeah, it's about the same time, but it's actually talking about getting Trump out of office.
Yeah, we're not going to let it happen, yeah.
Right, and everything else, so what happens to him? What is Peter Strzok doing now? Actually, go to that Georgetown article right there, the third one.
It's funny you're talking about that because it's the same thing we've talked about before. The lawyer, the FBI lawyer who altered the emails from MI5 because initially the Steele dossier was totally discounted by MI5. They're like, this guy's a quack. He's not trustworthy. He's a double agent. Don't listen to anything he says. This FBI lawyer changed that email, altered it to say that it was reliable, and that was the whole basis for the Steele dossier investigation and Trump collusion. And this guy got 1 year of probation. He got 1 year of probation.
Yeah.
He didn't even get disbarred.
So scroll up to the very top of that.
Yeah, let me swap you over here. Okay.
So, Georgetown University hires Peter Strzok to teach at Foreign Service School. So this guy, we're talking about attacks on the federal government. This guy's actually, talking about he's got a plan to actually get Donald Trump out of office. And that's pretty much, is that not treason?
Yeah, it says former FBI agent, Special Agent Peter Strasik, who drew notoriety from an anti-Trump text message he sent during an extramarital affair with FBI agent and attorney Lisa Page. Super trustworthy people here. We got cheating on each other. While employed by the Bureau, is now an adjunct professor at Georgetown University's Walsh School of Foreign Service.
Okay.
Of course he is.
So you got people that were walking around. You got people that were walking around the federal government building, just taking selfies, just walking around, not doing anything, are in confinement 23 hours a day. And then you got a guy that's actually literally planning to take out, President Trump to get him out of office. And he actually gets hired at a prestigious college to teach.
I see. Yeah, going back to what you asked, what I thought about all this, it definitely starts in our education system with kids at, high school, middle school, especially in college. I had a friend I was talking to the other day, and he didn't even know that there was a God or not. He knew at the beginning of college, and then he got so indoctrinated by the end of college that he didn't know what was up and what was down.
Well, yeah, and also, too, you got all the stuff going on. People are getting drunk and doing whatever, the stuff is, very easy to forget, the truth. But, yeah, you got people like this Mr. Strasik, Strzok, whatever his name is. Who cares how to pronounce his name? We'll call him Mr. S, Mr. Sleaze. The thing is it's funny. I don't know if you've heard this, the Yuri Bezmenov videos. The reason that these federal agencies, you have to have a college degree to get into them, right? You have to have a college degree. Why is that you have to have a college degree? Because whenever you go to college, they get to indoctrinate you with their liberal views. And I know it sounds crazy, but all you have to do is, think about the stories like what you have. Now, why would you not want to take someone straight out of high school who's, an intelligent person and to just teach them how to do what they need to do? Because they haven't been hammered for 4 years,
Well, they've been around their family, though, who is...
Exactly.
They've been around their family, who is the biggest, pusher of culture or
tradition.
Yeah, tradition, how you live. And then, when you get into these places, 9 times out of 10, you're away from your parents and family. And then you look up to your professors You
You're
know,
part
I
of the
mean,
system too.
yeah,
It's
well,
like
that, I mean, you're looking up at your professors, and you're like, well, okay, I guess
sense of authority.
maybe, yeah, the sense of authority. They actually have their future in their hands,
Exactly.
So
You don't want to upset them.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's the thing. But being that we're talking about this, there's a guy out in Portland State University. I forget his name, but he actually is Bergosia, I think his name. Peter Bergosia is his name. He's actually a professor out at Portland State, and he actually has like a conservative group of students,
Wow, he's
and
not dead
they're
yet.
actually talking out about it. And they say exactly that. They're like, well, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do this work,
Not
but
gonna be happy about
yeah,
it.
I'm not going to be happy about it, but I'm going to do it just to get the A,
Yeah.
just to get the grade, but that's perpetuating the system. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Well, they're
You
talking
know?
about, they talk about critical race or systemically racist. No, our system is systemically communist, first of all. And in that,
Right.
that no matter what, they're gonna have to have someone to hate. So I mean, it's so easy to just twist that. Once you have communism, you just twist it onto anything. I mean,
Right.
you literally anything. You have the oppressor and the oppressed, so you just turn it on to races.
Right.
And so it's just so useful. It just turns everyone into useful idiots.
Right.
And that's what these people are. These people are very intelligent people, and they think that they're trying to achieve something, and then what they're doing is actually creating this momentous force towards something, and then at the end someone's gonna uncover the actual trajectory, or take the blindfold off of them, and then they're gonna be like, oh, run into a brick wall, right? They've been driving this vehicle. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm trying to get to paradise, right?
Yeah.
And then someone's gonna take the mask off or the blindfold
Right.
at the end, and they're just gonna run into the brick wall.
Kind of like a bait and switch.
Yeah, and that's a bait
man.
and switch.
Bait and switch. Yeah.
And that,
So-
but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you got two other people in our past that were college professors who actually lived a pretty nefarious life. You had Bernadine Dorn, and you had Bill Ayers, and they were actually the leaders of the Weather Underground. They would go around, I mean, blowing stuff up.
Yeah, and
But
he's-
most people probably don't know this, but Bill Ayers actually is a retired professor in the College of Education at the University of Illinois in Chicago.
yeah, and what did he used to do?
Which time?
Well, he's
when
a-
it was
it says-
blowing stuff up?
says he
That's
was-
called terrorism.
Yeah, it says he was an FBI terrorist in a terrorist group, and he opposed the U.S. involvement in Vietnam. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but you see, I mean, now granted, I don't know if he actually, got rehabilitated or anything. I want to talk about both sides of the fence, but I'm just saying, you got this guy right here who actually went around terrorizing people, blowing up police stations and stuff like that, and then he gets to teach in college.
My question is who invited him to teach at that college? Was it the college themselves, or was there federal involvement
Well, I
going
don't
on?
know, but this gentleman right here got invited to the White House by Obama.
Well, I mean, he's married to a lawyer and clinical law professor.
Yeah.
These are all the elites, bro. This is the problem that people don't see. They just see these really intelligent people
yeah.
doing like supposed, humanitarian work, but the problem is at the same time that they're doing these things, they're actually they're making they don't have to be doing anything exactly evil at the time, but they're making exceptions. They're all the time, no matter what, their means justify the ends, or their
I
ends
understand.
justify the means.
Yeah, they're Machiavellian in their thought process.
So
I
so they're gonna
understand.
they'll make exceptions like rules for thee and not for me, and we see
Right.
that with
Right,
we
there's
got
a two-tier justice system.
Yeah, exactly. But it's okay because they know what's right. They know
Right.
what you're supposed to. They know how
Yeah.
to.
Well, I mean, they think that might is right.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I mean, and that's it's funny because it took me a while to learn this, and it's something that I live by, and it's this: just because you have the ability to do something doesn't make it right. Okay, just because you have the ability to do something does not make it right, and might does not make right, and that's the culture shift in this country. Man.
I think a lot of it has to do with also the postmodernism. It's
Yeah.
a culture shift, but it's if we don't have any standard playbook, up until the 1950s, we at least somewhat, everyone had a somewhat similar playbook. You didn't find that many people who were not Christian, at least maybe not, I mean, at least not in the United States. So you had, everyone had, you have to have some common ground.
Right.
If everyone has their own subjective truth, then there's no grounding, and anyone's truth can be their truth, and you can't,
Right.
then at that point, then it becomes the most intelligent person wins, or the most powerful person wins, and their truth is the truth.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, that these people all are part of the cool kids club, and they are all way smarter than everyone else. That's what they think, and they're all elitist, and they because they have no sense of grounding in an actual reality, which is the Bible and God.
I agree.
Then they can literally do anything. Just like Bill Gates, he wants to reduce the world's population to 1 billion. How you gonna do that, bro?
Well, there's actually a video. It's called "Innovating to Zero." You guys go actually check that out. It's on YouTube. You can watch the first 5 minutes.
This is the one talking
Man.
about vaccinations.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? No.
You guys told me enough.
Yeah,
I mean, I ought to watch it.
He actually talks about if vaccinations go the right way, that I know.
The right way?
Well, he's talking. What he says is like
It's like a TED Talk.
Yeah, he's at TED Talks, and I think it's back in 2015, and he's saying, world population is too high, pretty much, and he says, well, we can reduce it by 10 or 15% by using vaccines, healthcare, and family planning.
Yeah, and we're like,
and everybody's like, yay, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, people aren't thinking that though, and really, he might have just slipped and said the vaccination part. No,
I don't think so. No.
And dude, we can get all into the you're talking the Machiavellian stuff.
Right.
We can get into the Nephilim.
Well, that's the thing, but there's the whole point like this, 1/6. I mean, you got.
Here, we'll just show this real quick.
Okay, go ahead, man.
And then we'll let Austin go.
Okay, yeah, this is another part of the two-tier justice system.
Yeah.
Okay, so about the same time, Hillary Clinton was going through her deal where she actually had a server in her basement with, confidential,
top secret information,
which is illegal. You can't do that. And there's a gentleman that actually went to jail for a year because he was on a submarine and took a picture and had in the background some control panels and stuff. And he went to jail for a year, but
I mean, he's lucky he only went to jail for a year.
And
really.
I'll tell you what's even better to make you rub it in your face is James Comey got on there and he's talking about, the law says you have to commit gross negligence. Okay.
Knowing that you're doing something stupid.
No. Here's the funny part. He gets on there. He's like, "Well, the law, law says, she didn't commit gross negligence. Maybe careless recklessness. That's the definition of gross negligence." So he's like, "Well, she didn't commit gross negligence, but maybe she was careless and reckless. I mean, that's the definition."
Yeah.
I mean,
it's talking about here. Underhill, or they had asked Underhill to sentence this guy to probation, which is what that lawyer guy that we were just talking about for causing the whole Russia collusion scheme.
Right.
In court filings, he compared his case to Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server when he was Secretary of State. And the thing is I don't know if you guys have heard it, but they talk about the reason that Hillary's never going to be prosecuted for that is because of Russia, right? So the stuff that's on those emails, Russia already has access to because they were on a non-encrypted, private server, and Russia has a lot of dirt on them, which is why Putin is talking trash, to Biden into his face whenever they have a public summit. That guy's laughing at Biden in his face. This guy's asleep at the controls, and Putin's like, man, you guys voted for this guy, and all at the same time, you've got Hunter Biden getting $50,000 a year from Burisma in Ukraine, and then you got $3 million check from the mayor of Moscow's wife to Hunter Biden for what? For what?
Yeah.
And then you got China. You got Hunter Biden flying with Joe Biden on Air Force 2 to China to hang out with President Xi.
Yeah, so
what the heck is going on?
Then you got $140 million that goes to the Clinton Foundation after the Uranium One deal.
Well, yeah. I mean, what is it? What is it? I mean, at this point, we're just, it's just monopoly money at this time.
Pretty much. I was actually going to say, too, like these people in power,
Yeah.
they're wanting more money, more power, but they're all going to go into the ground. And they keep putting more people in the ground to make themselves higher.
Yeah.
But they're just going to the same destination.
Who was it that just ended up dead? One of the Hillary informant, or
John McAfee?
yeah, no, not John McAfee. It was some other reporter. He's the one who broke.
Oh yeah, the tarmac guy, the guy who actually Bill Clinton and that lady met on the tarmac. Who was it? What was her name? I forget. But anyway, he supposedly killed himself too.
Yeah, supposedly. And the thing is too, it doesn't even matter if they want to make raise taxes or anything. What just happened? The inflation, that is a tax on everything. So think about it. If you raise the price of everything, then you're raising, as a byproduct, you're raising the taxes on everything. I mean, if you increase the cost of everything by 10%, you can increase the taxes by 10%. And that's what Milton Friedman talks about a lot. If you check out him, he's amazing, super genius economist
yeah.
from the his 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, dude. It's just this is the federal government they shouldn't be able to do these things. They shouldn't be able to do these things. The only federal government that we should have is what's necessary to protect the people from foreign
enemies. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard of Dr. Jeff Cobble. He's
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's the gentleman we listened to, the constitutional.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody doesn't know about the constitutional course in Johnson City, they need to go there because there's so
When's the next
much.
one?
This Tuesday at 7.
Tuesday, so that's gonna be at Calvary Chapel Church.
Yes.
Tuesday at 7. It's Locust Street.
West Locust Street. Yep, in downtown Johnson City.
City, and we caught at least I caught the tail end of the third part, which was
right. Yeah,
super informative.
I went there on a Saturday and listened to him. Man, he's really, really informative, really educational. He actually takes it and he breaks it down to where just lay people can understand it. Yeah.
And also too, you're involved with Tennessee. Are you involved with Tennessee Stands, or are you involved with a different group? If you want to tell people about that.
I'm a volunteer with Tennessee Stands. Yeah.
Okay, and then you have a separate group at your church. What is that?
So what's awesome about our church is rather than just sitting back and watching all this thing unfolding, they're getting involved in educating people in government and actually educating them. I mean, their job is to educate them, their sheep, their people on the Word of God, but also to educate them on what's going on around them.
Mm.
And so, I'm a volunteer with Tennessee Stands, and I'm pretty involved with my church.
And you guys have a Young Republicans group, is that, or a Young Conservative group?
Yes, so there's a branch right now that we're working on. It's called Next Gen Tennessee Stands. And it's a group of kids my age, 17, 18, some even 15 years old. And they're getting informed at a young age. And it's definitely, like you said, it starts in the home.
Right.
And so...
I wish I had that in my life. I did. You don't know what you don't know. But
that's pretty well said. Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. But it's definitely that's what we need more of. It. If people have to make an effort, though, it's like getting out of bed in the morning. You have to actually put
make
an effort.
your bed.
Yeah. Make your bed. Yeah, you like Jordan Peterson? You familiar with him?
Was he the Navy?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll get you one of his books.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
he's pretty.
12 Rules for Life.
Yeah. So, guys, that's probably about it for this week. We're going to try to make a short one, man, but I want to make some announcements once again. Tennessee Stands, July 6th, as Mr. Russell was saying. They're going to have another meeting if you're a conservative, or if you want to learn about any of the stuff that we're actually talking about. Come out there, and we'll get you hooked up. And Johnson City Freedom also has meetings.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So Johnson City Freedom. So do they happen at the same time?
Sometimes. So how it works is the first Tuesday of every month.
Okay.
At the West Locust Calvary Chapel, we have a meeting for Johnson City Freedom.
Okay. Awesome. Also want to mention again the Soldiers of Gideon Ministries. I'm always going to talk about them. And the email to get a hold of them is thetruelight333@gmail.com. So, guys.
And that's a local militia group for you guys. You know, they're good, bunch of good guys.
Yeah, well, it's
helping the community out.
Yeah, they're really focused on ministry though, so that's the main thing. So, man, guys, as I always say, treat your neighbor with respect and dignity. If they don't agree with you, man, that's okay. You know, you want to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself.
Exactly.
So, you know, just treat people right, treat people with decency and respect. Once again, this is the McMak Podcast. Check us out on Spotify. And we'll definitely have Austin back on here pretty soon. We're going to talk about the educational system. Got a couple good shows actually coming up, man. So tell everybody about us, and we will definitely see you next time.
Hey guys, also too want to remind you guys check the campaign out. You know, I'm not a politician, so you know, any inputs appreciated. You guys want to email me, you know, matt@forcongress.vote. And then, you know, again, our website for this podcast is McMakPocast.com. Reach out to us, Spotify, YouTube, like and subscribe. You know, again, we're not making any money off this, so
we're just trying to get to, you know, we want to talk to people, man. You know, we want to get this message out. Yeah, we want to. Man, I want to live in peace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. That's why I moved to Tennessee.
Yeah, but you know, we gotta get riled up again. You know, people have lost the fire since Trump's gone, and you know, we gotta bring it back.
Yeah. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, guys, check us out, like and subscribe, and then we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.